My name's Lyle Weir. I'm the course director of English and Creative Writing at Coventry University. Oh, sorry, I should to read the question out there. What did you want to be when you grew up? Oh, I can answer this one definitely. I wanted to be a rock star. I played in bands when I was younger, and I really thought that was what I was going to do with my life. And I kind of fell into teaching. It wasn't something that I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to be a teacher. But I met a really awesome lecturer here at Coventry back when I did my undergraduate degree called Alison Morris, and she completely changed my life, and that kind of inspired me to want to follow in her footsteps and inspire young people the way that she did for me.
What was the name of your band?
Oh my god, no, I'm not sharing that one on camera. There's stuff on YouTube and that'll come back to haunt me. Who or what inspired you to teach your subject? So again, that would have been the old course director of the degree, Alison. I think she really caught me at a time in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, and I wasn't very sure of myself, and I definitely had no self-confidence. And she kind of instilled that into me and brought out the best parts of me. And that made me realise the difference that teachers can make in a person's life, how they can really pull them up and turn them into really good members of society that inspire young people. What's your experience in your field? I teach video game writing primarily. That's one of my favourite things to teach. I'm a massive gamer. Yeah, quite a big nerd. And I also teach graphic novel writing and comic book writing as well. What do you love most about teaching? Probably the ability to take young people, especially those who come from like non-traditional qualification backgrounds, and see them succeed. So I've had a few students who either had no formal qualifications or came to the university with quite severe learning difficulties, and a number of those I've seen graduate with firsts, and I think that's a particular sense of pride for me. I always say that university should be an opportunity that's open for everybody, so there should be no barriers to entry as long as you show a passion for a subject. What's the biggest myth about your subject? That you can't get a job? Like easily it's that you can't get a job. I think most people think, oh, creative writing, what are you going to do with that? And I talk to a lot of parents at Open Day about this, and I really say that a degree is just a piece of paper. It's the person behind the degree that matters. So the qualification is just a qualification, but it's your drive and your passion for something that really gets you to where you want to be. But realistically, with this type of degree, you can do anything that you like. And I mean, I studied for an English degree. A lot of politicians have humanities degrees, even though they tell you that they hate humanities subjects. So realistically, yeah, you could do anything that you want. What's your teaching style? My students will probably say really laid back. I like really loud classrooms. I don't like silence. I think it makes my brain overwork when classrooms are silent. So I like students that are quite loud. Obviously not causing disruption, but just having a laugh with each other. I don't mind students listening to music when they're doing activities and things like that. I think, you know, I come from a background where I'm pretty certain I've got ADHD, so I need those kinds of things to help me concentrate. So I think that it's only fair to allow students that environment as well. And just creating a really inclusive, open environment where people can express themselves and their opinions free of any kind of, you know, backlash or anything like that. Do your students just sit in lectures all day? No, I would be bored if I had to deliver lectures all day. So we do some kind of traditional lectures, but it's mostly broken up with activities. So it's about discussion more than anything. So one of my favourite styles of lecture to deliver as well, where I'll give a topic and I'll talk about that topic in a bit of detail, but then I'll generate discussion around the room, and that's when students will throw their opinions out. We can debate different things we might agree or disagree on, and I learn a lot from students as well. You know, I'm 38, so I'm getting on a bit now, so I get to learn a lot of the cool new stuff from young kids. But no, you don't sit in lectures all day. Do workshops, practical activities, field trips, all kinds of fun stuff. What's your favourite course module and why? I'm going to admit to being a massive nerd now. An old student of mine who actually ended up teaching here got me into D&D, tabletop RPGs. So we designed a module together that was basically about exploring that kind of narrative and telling stories through tabletop RPGs, and this kind of on the spot making stuff up as you go along, and people throwing all of this chaos into the mix and trying to keep things together. So that at the moment is definitely my favorite module that we do. As a student, I'm worried about the academic workload. Should I be? No, because we have so many support systems in place. So first and foremost, you have access to your tutors. Here at Coventry, we say we have an open door policy, and we really mean it. So if you need a tutorial for any reason, and it could be related to your studies or related to personal issues that you're having, we will make sure that you've got a tutorial that same week. And we also have something called student success coaches, and they are dedicated to helping students manage their workload. And I think that's one of the cool, unique things about Coventry, is that we have access to these success coaches, and they've made a huge difference to all of our students. We've seen rates for sort of deferrals and resits go down dramatically ever since they were introduced. So no, there are plenty of people that are here to support you. We want you to succeed. We want you to do your best. So it's really important to us to make sure that we give you all of the support you need to get there. What difference do you think your subject area makes to the world? I think it helps create students who are incredibly open-minded. It helps create students that are ready to go out into the world and understand how to use their voice, but also the power of their voice. Sometimes the things that we can say can either cause great good or great harm. And I think that we teach our students to be mindful of that, so that when they go out into the world, they can do wonderful things with their words. And that doesn't mean just writing fictional narratives. That could also mean going into things like speech writing, for example. A lot of people don't realize that there are writers behind politicians writing those speeches for them. So I think making them aware that those words have power, and to be very mindful of the sort of things that they're putting out there. What has your most successful student gone on to do? Okay, so I had one student last year who worked on the I think it's the Living History project, and they got to work with Andy Serkis. But I've also had a student that works down in London as a marketing executive, and I'm pretty certain makes a lot more money than I do, so I'd definitely call that a success. I also had a student that has worked at the BBC, Netflix, and now works for an independent film studio as well. So those are just off the top of my head. What would be your advice to your 18-year-old self when picking a degree? Don't be so worried about the future. I think that university is more than just getting a qualification. University is a formative experience, and the person who steps through the doors is not going to be the person that leaves at the end of it. You're going to be far more confident, you're going to be far more sure of what it is that you want to do, and you're also going to be armed with the knowledge and skills to make that a reality. I didn't think university was going to be a place that I'd fit in, and what I realized very quickly was, no, there are tons of people like me that come from similar backgrounds, and that's what's so great about it, is that opportunity is equal. You know, everybody's given the same amount of opportunity, and as long as you're willing to work really hard and you have an idea in mind of what it is that you'd like to achieve at the end of it, you can absolutely do that. So yeah, I'd say stop worrying to my 18-year-old self.